Alrighty, everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about an RFA that has not signed yet, and it's the preseason. I got a game on right now that I'm going to do a game review for in a few hours, Toronto versus Ottawa, and Trevor Zegras has still not signed. It's September 24th, and typically by now all of the RFAs would be signed, or at least all of the big name RFAs would be signed. Right now, I believe there's 3 that have not been signed to contracts, and it's Alex Formenton, Shane Pinto, and Trevor Zegras. And I'm not as worried with Pinto as others. The Sens don't have cap space. They want to sign him, but they just simply can't right now. Anaheim can, and they're choosing to kind of lowball Trevor Zegras right now. And I'm here to discuss whether or not they have the right to. So let's talk about this here. So in 22-23, let's start off with that. Trevor Zegras had played 81 games, had 23 goals, 42 assists for 65 points. It was profiled to be, a horrible year for Anaheim. They were dead last in the NHL. However, Zegras putting up a 65-point year isn't that bad. However, he had better seasons before. It felt like, and it's just been weird with him. He's been, I don't want to say overrated, but he's been hated on a lot throughout this past season. Just people say that he puts on these moves to make himself look like such a good player, when in retrospect he really isn't that good of a player. And do I agree with that on some level? Kind of, but I also disagree. I still think he's a solid player. Just maybe the moves overrate him a little bit, which is understandable. But yeah, this year definitely was a confusing year in Anaheim. And the reason why I don't think they're doing it just to him is because they did it to Troy Terry, who also needed to be signed. And eventually he did get signed, but they lowballed the hell out of him originally. And then I believe it went to arbitration, and they eventually signed him to the money that he deserved. And yeah, is Zegras Terry? No. I think he's a little bit worse than Terry, if I'm being honest. Now, Anaheim doesn't have a problem with cap space. They have $16 million in cap space right now. And there's a question of bridge deal. That looks like what they're most likely going to be agreeing on. And additionally, Zegras isn't the only RFA that needs to be signed by Anaheim. I completely forgot about him until now. Jamie Drysdale still has to be signed as well. So I would imagine maybe what could be happening here is they're waiting to announce the official signings for both of them until they get both of them locked up. Maybe that's why they want to do this. But obviously, long term's out of the question. It looks like they got the years down. But it's probably going to be like a 3 to 4 year deal or a 2 to 3 year deal most likely. But what they're looking at here is, with him, like how much money is he going to get paid? Now, obviously, you want to look at the other guys that have gotten paid, the guys who were drafted around the same time as him. You got Jack Hughes, $8 million. You got Dylan Cousins, $7.1 million. You got Boldy, $7 million. And you got Cole Caulfield, $7.9 million. And people argue, and Zegras has more points than most of those players besides Jack Hughes, if I'm correct, in points per game. However, I think it goes back to that overrated part again, where people think that, he puts on these good moves and all in all isn't that good of a player. And maybe Anaheim is lowballing him a little bit. Maybe he doesn't deserve $8 million. But if I'm being honest, I don't really think he does either. They're offering him between $3 to $4 million right now. Realistically, just to make it go away, I would give him 5, or 5, maybe 6, to just let him go away. And deal with it another time, because they're not in the situation right now where they should be a playoff team. I wouldn't think so, especially with this stuff happening right now. I don't think they would be. And just realistically, just give him 5. Like, I mean, a 65-point score, does he deserve $8 million? No. You look at Jack Hughes, and it's good context too. You look at those guys; they've put up numbers where they deserve these annual values. Jack Hughes had an amazing season this past year. Definitely deserves the money he's getting paid. Cole Caulfield has faced injuries, yes, but he's scored at such a consistent rate with the Canadiens that he deserves the money that he's getting. Cousins and Boldy, not as much. They've taken a little bit longer to develop, but I think $7 million, and when they get to their prime, I think it's going to be a pretty good number, or could even be a steal. And with the cap rising too, that plays another big factor. Players have showed they want more money because they know the cap's going to be higher in the next couple of years. Which, yes, that plays a role. But honestly, if I'm Anaheim, I agree with not signing him to that money, but I disagree with the 3 to 4. I think he should get 5 to 6, just to shut him up, and maybe give him like a 2-year deal at that, and then you come back in those 2 years. If they're a playoff team in that second year, then maybe you start offering him that money. But I need to see more improvement from Zegras if I can say, yeah, he deserves $8 million. He deserves where Jack Hughes and Cousins are getting paid and such and such, and understandably so. There's a lot there, and I mean maybe cap space is a big factor because obviously I haven't looked at the 2024 RFAs or UFAs, but I would assume there is some for Anaheim that he do have to take into consideration. But yeah, overall, I feel like this is being blown way out of proportion a little bit. They're just disagreeing on a dollar value, but it's the 24th. Preseason's happening today and all through next week and the week following. So, and then after that, it's the regular season. So you got to get him signed soon. Definitely. I think honestly, he could get signed later today, or he could get signed tomorrow, or he could get signed this week. But it needs to happen soon. He needs to get signed this week, and I think all the guys are going to get signed. I think Pinto's going to get signed. I think Drysdale's going to get signed. I think Zegras is going to get signed. I don't see them not. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below on whether or not you think Trevor Zegras deserves the money that he wants, or Anaheim is not lowballing him here. I personally think he deserves around $5 to $6 million, but that is just me, of course. Anyways, thank y'all for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button down below. We greatly appreciate it. We will continue on with the prospect pool overviews tomorrow and following. Actually, tomorrow is the start of the standings predictions, so that'll be fun. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.